the day that Albert Anastasia was murdered, he was supposed to meet with Santo Trafficante because they were planning on making a move in Havana against Meyer Lansky that same day. And it just so happened that the New York bosses decide to murder him that morning.
Well, he would have had to get that okayed because Meyer Lansky didn't work for a particular family.
I don't think they were going to murder him. They were going to basically set up their own casinos outside of the mob system, so that Lansky wouldn't be getting a piece of it. Because already a lot of the Italian gangsters were I feel like we could go long on this one. It's fine.
No, I was just checking.
A lot of the New York gangsters were anti-Semitic. They didn't like Meyer Lansky because he was Jewish, right. But also they felt like they gave this outsider, because he wasn't a made man of the mafia, too much power. Of basically a guy who's not one of us is controlling our city. And the heat gets turned up even more because Meyer Lansky's main ally in New York, Frank Costello, there's an assassination attempt against him.
Well, they did kill him, no?
No. Frank Costello lives. Who's the boss? That's the Oddfather, who he walked around with a bathrobe.
The Chin
Gigante. Vincent the Chin Gigante. He's a young, strapping young man. He goes up to Frank Costello in the hallway of a hotel and shoots him in the head. But it kind of just grazes Frank Costello's head, and he survives.
That was, they were calling Cuomo the Chin because he was walking around in his, bathrobe outside the governor's mansion.
That's awesome.
He had, that
that's not awesome room. Because fuck Andrew Cuomo. But, yeah, he doesn't deserve that title.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I probably talked about this, but my friend who he works at a heliport where helicopters come in and out of, so he's seen Cuomo a million times while he's been governor, and he would always tell me that he's a prick, he doesn't tip, he's not a nice guy, and I always kind of was like, really? Not that I can't believe that, but right. Because everyone was so, especially with coronavirus, there
was a joke on the Daily Show. Trevor Noah was saying
homosexuals or
Trevor Noah was saying Andrew Cuomo, the only guy in America who wishes it was still 2020.
Yeah. He was like a celebrity this time last year.
It was weird. It was the fall from grace for Andrew Cuomo was weird. First of all, I always hated Andrew Cuomo. Yeah. I did think in the beginning, I thought he was doing a good job with coronavirus, which, look, with getting case numbers down, he was doing a good job.
Not really.
He wasn't doing a good.
Bad right
he wasn't doing a good job with helping small businesses.
Well, certainly
100%, 100%, and he's a dirtbag for that, and he's dirtbag for the nursing home things. A lot of the lockdowns that he went in, if you're helping these businesses that you're going to be shutting down, then okay, you got to do what you got to do. But he wasn't doing that. He wasn't helping any of the businesses.
Of course, but it goes back to messaging. Whether it's, to use the examples in this episode, whether it's Kurt Cobain pretending to be a slacker when he's really a fucking Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
When it's, if it's Fidel with his radio show saying that they're fucking, their army is bigger than it is and they just won this battle. Or if it's Cuomo going on primetime television and being fucking Grandpa Cuomo.
Yeah.
It's messaging. It's how you're delivering your visual, your message, you're hammering home your points. That's what people fucking eat up.
Right.
So that's why he got so popular. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, he's running like a fucking, real...
Yeah.
From what the accounts are, a pretty bad situation. So,
yeah.
Plus, he was just an asshole. But that's why it doesn't pay to be an asshole.
No.
It doesn't pay to kick people on your way up or badmouth people or be a dirtbag, or, because when it comes for you...
We'll get to...
No one will be there for you.
We'll get to Vito Genovese, because that was him.
Exactly.
Vito Genovese. So the hit of the assassination attempt of Frank Costello was by Genovese. Genovese thought that he was looked over, that he should be the boss, that he should be running things. He didn't just want Frank Costello's spot. He wanted Lucky Luciano's spot. He thought he should run the national crime organization. He sends young the Chin Gigante to kill Frank Costello. It's botched. Frank Costello lives. But the thing about Frank Costello is Frank Costello never wanted to be a gangster to begin with. He was a street kid. He was forced into it. He never really wanted to be the boss. He did it because Charlie Luciano asked him to do it. He wanted to leave the gangster life altogether, and he thought, okay, this is my chance. So he says, I'm retiring, and Vito Genovese, you can be the boss. And Frank Costello retires, and it's not till 20 years later that Frank Costello dies of natural causes. But the assassination attempt against Frank Costello, it leads to the Appalachian meeting. The Appalachian meeting is basically Vito Genovese calls together all the mafia families to basically, one, they're going to talk about who's going to be running New York now, because since Frank Costello retired.
Which our grandmother's uncle was at this meeting.
Yes. Who's going to run the Albert Anastasia family, and how we're going to kick Meyer Lansky out of Cuba.
Wow.
Vito Genovese was a racist, and he was an anti-Semite, and he did not like Meyer Lansky. And Meyer Lansky was kind of, with Frank Costello leaving, was out of friends in New York, because all kind of the old school gangsters who were fine with working with Irish or black or Jewish gangsters, because there was kind of this immigrant oppressed people mentality of we're all into this together. That was gone, and now it was replaced by people who wanted to keep the mob strictly Italian.
Right.
Meyer Lansky, it's rumored that he's the one that called the police on them at the Appalachian meeting.
Really?
That's at least what they said.
How did he
that's
even
the
know
theory.
about it, though?
He figured out through his channels that they were having this meeting, and that he tipped the cops off. But the cops come in, they round everybody up, give them warrants or whatever, and everyone turns on Vito Genovese, because Vito Genovese was in charge of this meeting.
And so he takes the blame for it.
He takes the blame for it, and now they're like, well, maybe Meyer isn't that bad. Yeah, Meyer is Jewish, and he's not technically in the mafia, but like Vito just got everybody arrested.
Yeah.
Vito's set up on a drug charge, and he spends the rest of his life in prison. That's a few years later, but it's because of the Appalachian meeting.
They gave him the Fitch Lamana.
They gave him the Fitch Lamana. I heard different stories.
Not drugs, but that was
hear different stories. One, it was Lucky Luciano who came up with the plan. Another one that was not Joe Colombo. Carlo Gambino who came up with it. But basically they came together and they're like, we're sending this guy away because this guy's an asshole, you know?